here on Bills night at the KeyBank Center. And joining us now, Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff. You're going to talk more football than you've talked all season here right now because we're talking Bills more than we are Sabres. I mean, I know you guys got a game tonight and everything, but
when was the last Bills game you went to?
I went to a couple this year. Went to the opener, one other game. Love going to the game. I don't love driving in the traffic.
Right.
But
what about? Do you have a go-to tailgate or anything like that pre-game?
We've got to keep that secret.
Dude, that's what listen, I know. I've got like three stops.
Mobbed.
I've got 3 stops I make myself that I'm kind of like.
3 that you're telling us. That's
right.
3
No, it's
telling.
3.
Yeah.
Just 3. And I was stopped by Kelly's little Winnebago there. Had, it's free.
He's got his own operation.
Well, here's the problem, and I don't know if you have this problem. I can't drink pregame because I do postgame. So I have to. I can smoke cigars. I smoke cigars while I'm doing that, but I can't, have a pop, a celebratory pop or anything.
Yeah, that takes the fun out of pregame right there when you can't even have a drink.
It's a problem.
That's kind of what pre-gaming is.
I mean,
right.
So you got to get the bowling ball out. And you got to have a little sip.
Okay. So you do. You do.
Okay. I think we found out one of the stops.
So what's your preferred bowling ball beverage?
I can't say.
Okay. All right, that's good. So you did go to the opener. You went to another game.
Yeah.
Did you, when you were, in Jersey and all that, did you ever get back here for games or anything? Did you ever come
No, but I went to the Philly game. I drove from Philly with my son,
nice.
my son and my wife, and that game that rained the
Oh,
entire
my God,
night.
horrible
Gosh, the overtime loss.
The overtime loss where I thought I actually thought the officiating was terrible in that
It was
game.
terrible.
But it was a drive. It poured rain the whole way there. It poured rain the whole game, and then it poured the whole way back.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a heck.
And a 59-yard field goal in a rainstorm is
That's
what
the
sent
thing
it
that
to
kills
overtime.
you. And that's
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible game, and the people around me eventually figured out that I was telling my son, keep it quiet. We don't. I mean, the Philly fans are a little bit.
You don't know what you're going to get.
We're cheering for both teams. I said, to the guy next to me, no, Ray, he's cheering for both teams.
Yeah,
that's it though.
Yeah, and I was just you're 100% right about the officiating in that game. At halftime, 10 penalties for Buffalo, 1 for Philly.
Yeah,
and it finished 13-4.
All right, so you go back. You had a chance to be a Bills fan, live away, come back from 1,000 miles away. When you're looking at it from a distance, did you see? Does it feel like a 59-yard game winner in a rainstorm? Hail Murray. 13 seconds.
Minnesota.
Overtime coin flip. Minnesota game over. Does it feel like, what the heck, man?
Yeah.
Did it feel like that from a long way away? Because it did here.
It does. It really does. I think when you're away from here, you get a lot of grief for being a Bills fan.
Yeah.
It took a lot of guff, and I'm chirping the Bills all the time. And so, when you lose a game, you hear it from the people around where you're going,
sure,
it's all Bills today. So, and I'm not afraid to chirp about the Bills, and that.
Love it.
Right.
So I have to take it every now and then, too.
We got a theme tonight, which is borrowed from the Bills when they play the Dolphins, Squish the Fish, and people always correct us and remind us that the Dolphins are a mammal. You actually have a legitimate
fish
mascot that's a fish in the Sharks tonight here, so it seems even more apropos for you guys. But they'll be swinging the towels out here, kind of like we do for the Dolphins games. That's pretty interesting that they drew that parallel here tonight.
Another thing, do you have we're Bills guys. Do you have Bills gear?
I do have Bills gear.
You do? What's your Bills gear that you go to?
I've got the camouflage.
The
camouflage.
Salute to service stuff.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Is it a hoodie or jersey or what?
No, it's a polo. And then I've got the 3/4 zip Bills. Yeah. Pretty thin, not quite as. Maybe a little bit like this right here.
You got an '89 jersey or anything like that?
I'd love an '89 jersey if you want to give me an
look at that!
Tasker
Turn it
jersey.
right back
I
on
can make
there.
it happen.
Yeah.
Home or away?
Home.
All right, I got a red one too. I mean, I got a
red.
a color rush.
Red would be nice.
I got one.
You know what? If you got me the right, that would be my go-to on Sundays. I would wear my Tasker jersey. How's that?
Wow!
I'll see if I can make it happen. I'm not going to sign it though. That's
speaking of players, both former and current.
Give me a Haslett one too, and the Fred Smirlis and the Reggie.
Yeah, you
Kent.
go back.
I know you got a lot of things to worry about on game night when you're behind the bench, but I'm sure there are times in breaks in the action where you have noticed some Bills players taking in the game. Deion Dawkins is hard to miss. He likes sitting down by the glass, and he's a glass banger, like, a lot. Do you like when you have a break and a half a second during a timeout or a TV break or whatever? Is he noticeable, and what's it like seeing Bills players down here? 'Cause they put a charge into people.
Yeah, I think that interaction is awesome. I think when the sports teams in the city, when the players from different teams, go to their venues or the opposite, and watch games, I think it's special. I mean, this is a special place to play. And, when a football player shows up or football players show up in your building to watch, it's like our group, I can just tell you, our group of guys, I think, if there's an opportunity to go, they're all in. It's like almost every guy from our team is going to the Bills game. And, I think it just shows you what a community and what a sports city this is and how, we all cheer for each other.
Yeah, well, that's how I got into the Sabres way back in the day. Kent Hull, Will Wolford, and those guys had season tickets, right, in the old Odd. And they, give me the tickets for a day or something. We'd go to a game. And now
he's a guy from Kansas.
Yeah, there was an ice rink in my state when I grew up. And now I'm in 105. I'm a season ticket holder in 105, right up behind. I'm like 12 and 14 rows right behind your bench. And, you just kind of, I'll say this, though. I really have, like you said, the players they come to the Bills games, the Bills come here, because you appreciate what it takes to be at that level. But let me tell you something. You feel like you have a second job if you come to every single Sabres game. I tip my hat to you guys. That is a grind of a season, 82 games. And when you even hit every game of a homestand, it's like, oh, my gosh, here we go. I got to go back down. And it's like having an apartment down here.
No, it is true. I mean, like, we're going through a segment right now. We're going 5 games, 8 nights.
Yeah.
You play in Montreal, you come home, you play a game back-to-back. You're going to fly tomorrow, you play You play Tampa, you play Florida, and then you're flying back and you're playing right away again. Our sport is a different beast.
It's a difficult sport.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it I think a lot of times it's a grind that some people don't realize. When you're getting in, like last night, you get in at 1:30. You're not counting on overtime. You're not counting on de-icing the plane, and you're not counting on you got to clear customs. You got to get off the plane and the terminal, get back on your plane, and push across back to the other side. And you football guys have pretty well all your cities in the same country. We got to deal with going over the border and coming back. So I mean, there's a lot.
And your games are just as intense as a football game. And here's the thing with football: we get 6 days to ramp up. You get, like you said, sometimes you get 36 hours, sometimes you get 18 hours, sometimes you get 48 hours. It's never you can't have a run-up of 6 days where you've got a set list of things that you got to accomplish. Now you got to go through customs, you got to get on the plane, you got to de-ice, you got overtime, then you got to bus or travel, then you don't travel, then you're back home. It's a helter-skelter schedule. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, well, then you got to show up the next morning and talk to you guys.
That's right. There are high points.
Yeah,
right.
There's good parts to the job.
There are
really.
high points.
Yeah, good point, Steve. Hell of a point.
Is there somebody on staff that, because I know Sean, not with his athletic training staff, and then they have a sports science staff that tries to, they even call it prehab, to keep their guys' bodies fresh despite a travel schedule. I imagine you guys have to help these guys try to come up with a cheat code to stay fresh through all of that stuff that you're describing.
I mean, the phrase you hear most often now is "rest is a weapon." Don't bring him in. Don't bring him in this morning. Let him stay home. Let him sleep in.
Load management stuff.
But that's all sports science stuff too. On even your practice load, how hard you can practice. Players have heart rate monitors on. We have speed variables that you look at in practice. Got all the data, and they'll come in and they'll say, we got to keep the load down today. I mean, today can be, maybe 20 minutes or 25 minutes. You're going to work on some special teams, but you can't do the high-end competitive stuff where you keep the heart rate in a real high rate and fatigue them at all, because, you're going to be playing the next day.
It's amazing, too, because the thing that gets forgotten in all this, some of the guys you've got are like 19 years old, 20 years old. They're not,
they're not like us.
Right.
Hey.
Right,
like
they're not 10-year vets, right? Some of them, once in a while, you get an older guy in there that knows. But these guys, you got to kind of teach them that.
Yeah.
They have to learn what their game day routine needs, and it's different for a 19-year-old than it is for a 29-year-old.
Yeah, Steve, I think that's so important that a young player has to develop a routine, and that routine can be different from any other player.
Right.
But when you get a routine that works for you, the amount you sleep, the amount you eat, what you eat, what really works for you. And you can stick to that routine from a training sense to what you're doing after a game. The big part about playing all these games and the 5 games, 8 nights is can you maintain a level of strength? Like your physical strength starts to go down. And we start measuring that. And then how do you get that back up when you have no rest? I mean, you basically got to rest them, try to refresh them.
And also, it seems to me like it'd be a great way to lose weight. For that kind of grind, that always on the go, and you're trying to get rest here, and that kind of helter-skelter stress. It's hard to, because our guys used to be real sensitive about, dropping 10 pounds during a stretch where, you had so much going on, you didn't have that.
I'm amazed when I've been around. The cafeteria of the Bills. I'm amazed how much a football player.
Oh, they pack it in.
Oh, yeah.
How much they eat.
Those guys eat like blast furnace.
Yeah. I mean, the NHL is, it's coined, NHL stands for Never Hungry League because there's food everywhere, too. Yeah. From post-game pizza in the room to airplane food to, you get here in the morning, you got breakfast, you got lunch, you got snack, you got, so that part's the same. And players, we're trying to keep them away from losing weight.
Right.
So we're in the same category.
Your strength, yeah.
Lindy, great seeing you, man. It's
been
Steve,
you too.
Yeah, it's
awesome,
good to touch base
awesome
again.
being on with you guys.
We'll get out on the links this summer or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't need any lessons. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for giving us some time on a
you're
game
welcome.
day. We appreciate it.
Awesome.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
That's Sabres head coach Lindy Ruff here on Bills Night at the Arena. We appreciate it.